Okay, so one of the questions was, if I was on a stranded island, would I choose Preston or Joe? So I need you to tell me why I should choose you.
Well, I got grit. Just straight grit. I'm going to do whatever it takes to survive.
Yeah, right.
Don't have a lot of skills.
What do you have to offer the team, me?
Well, not fire. Probably can't build a shelter.
With what tools?
Look, I just got straight grit. I could last.
That means nothing. You're just saying words.
Like, he's your brother, so he would do anything for you. But I mean, I feel like Preston's a softie, so couldn't kill things. I don't know how he'd feel about killing animals for food. I don't know. I feel like he's just not savage enough to do what it takes.
We've seen him with dogs.
I don't think he's savage enough to do what it takes to survive. He's too nice of a guy.
All right, what's going on, guys? So my creative mind, my brain is just a little bit fried from this past weekend, from filming Brad and Aubrey's wedding, their vlogs, my vlogs. I just need to I need to let it just soak in a little bit after just a crazy weekend. If you want to see that video, the wedding video for Brad and Aubrey, I'll link it below so you can watch how it turned out. I thought it turned out really, really well, and I'm happy with it. But it was a lot of creativity, a lot of filming, a lot of editing. The wedding video alone, I finished the morning after the wedding. It took me 5 hours to edit, but I'm happy with it. I'm done. So I posted a Q&A on Instagram today that I'm about to dive into. Really good questions. I'm really happy with the turnout. Now, a lot of these questions are very relatable. It's kind of the same topic, so I'll combine them into one and just touch on them as a whole. I don't know if I've ever told this story on YouTube, but what was the worst suck you had to embrace? What is one moment where I truly embraced the suck? Florida Phaser Ranger School. This day was probably 110 degrees, late June, maybe early July 2014. And we're sitting in the patrol base in the morning, just so tired, so hot. And the ranger instructors throw an artillery simulator in the middle, blow us down of our patrol base. So we all 300 degrees, 300 meters. Everyone echoes, you just start running. And our eyes pulled us back in. We're like, no, go back to the patrol base. We need to take care of some administrative stuff before you guys can move out on today's mission. So I go, and someone else took my foxhole that we had to dig. So I dive into this other foxhole. So I dive into this foxhole, and I feel the stuff on my arms and all over me. And I see baby wipes. And I realize the person whose foxhole that was, before we left, took a crap in his foxhole, wiped through the baby wipes in there. I come back in, I dive in 110 degree crap in this foxhole. And that's where I was I'm laying in this poop, waiting for us to leave for the day. I'm sitting in shit. Looking back, that was embracing the suck. That was truly embracing some shitty suck. Of all the things you've learned as an Army officer, what stuck with you the most, and how did it translate to your business and civilian life? One of the other questions was how was my transition? How hard was my transition? The transition for me was very, very easy because I set myself up for success early on. So I had BPN before I even joined the Army. And as I was transitioning out, the company scaled and grew. Just the timing was perfect. So that as I left active duty and I was a full-time entrepreneur, full-time business owner, the business was booming and doing well. It was successful. So my transition was very, very easy. But I'd say one of the biggest things that I learned while I was in the military that translates to being an entrepreneur, and I'll kind of I'll put this into perspective that I've seen other business owners do just from social media stuff. So when I was in the Army, and say the officers in the company had to do paperwork while the soldiers were down working on the vehicles. So say we get back from field problem, and the soldiers, my NCOs, are working on the vehicles in the motor pool, and then the officers are up in the company. We're doing AAR stuff. We're doing evaluations, starting to write awards already. Just a lot of the admin work that the officers would do. I would always feel guilty that I wasn't down there with a platoon in the motor pool. I would always feel guilty. And that's one of the things that's translated to owning a business. When we did Black Friday the other week, we had this huge blowout Black Friday, and Preston and Joe were back there. They had a system in place, and I couldn't just jump in their system and start packing orders with them because they know exactly what boxes need to be packed, what fits where. They just had a system down. So my role in it was just sustaining the operations, getting them food, working on customer service stuff, filming the videos. But I felt like I always had to be here, and that's how it should be. You stay here until the job is finished, even though that's not your specific job. Packing orders, you're doing something else. Even if your job is done, you stay here and you support. So that's like one of the biggest things I've seen other business owners and entrepreneurs do is like they do a sale and they leave for the weekend and let their employees pack those orders and they just go have fun. To me, that's just wrong. So I think that mentality, that mindset of just like one team, one fight, if you will, or just like you do it as a whole, that is translated directly from my military experience to the business entrepreneur side. No matter how big BPN ever will get, if we do a big blowout sale, I'm going to be here with the team. I'm going to be working alongside them and get here at the same time and leave at the same time. It's just how it works. It's how it's supposed to be. Popular question that is always a popular question. I've touched on it before, but did you ever consider trying out for the 75th Ranger Regiment, or SF? And so I went to Ranger school. I was not an Army Ranger. I was Ranger qualified. That gets brought up a lot too. So I finished Ranger school in July of 2014. And as an officer, you have to do your first 4 years conventional in a line unit before you can apply to go to the 75th Ranger Regiment. And at that same time of applying, so I actually had my application filled out for the 75th Ranger Regiment. I ended up dropping my refrad packet to get out of the military. And my whole junior officer experience was a little different. So I did my platoon leader time at Fort Hood with 1st Cav in the infantry company. And then I applied and I tried out for a long-range surveillance platoon leader position. So out of all of Fort Hood, they had a competition held, like a tryout week, where you did these certain events, and then one person was selected to be this platoon leader to be the long-range surveillance PL. So I did this tryout. I made it. I was selected to be this PL, but my brigade commander would not sign my 4187 to send me from my current company in my brigade to the long-range surveillance company, which I was super excited for. So I didn't have that opportunity, and because I didn't have that opportunity, I wasn't able to leave. I ended up going to Korea, and when I was in Korea, I dropped my refrad packet to get out. So I had my 75th packet in the works and being filled out, but just like with the way BPN took off and going to Korea instead of going to this LURS unit, it's just the way it all ended up happening. This is a question I thoroughly enjoy and wanted to make sure I touched on. How do I succeed in life? So like success in life it's a personal perspective. Like, what is success to you? And this is something I changed, I'd say, in the past couple months. So I used to follow all these people online, social media influencers, or just people on Instagram and YouTube, and I would always compare like what I was doing, where I was at my point in life, to them based on like my age and my business and social media stats and all this stuff, like how I was growing compared to other people. And it was like tearing me apart. Like it would truly dig into me. And then I was like, randomly, once I was like, I'm gonna unfollow these people because like comparing myself to them doesn't measure my level of success. So I unfollowed all these people and just focused on what I was doing. I just focused on my business, my happiness, my style of filming and training, and what I wanted to do. Like what makes me happy? Like what makes me happy, and how can I be successful at that? And when I started focusing on that, my quality of life improved. How do you succeed in life? What do you want to be successful at? Where do you want to be? And what do you have to do to make it happen? What about your platoon did you love the most? I'd say like the field problems with the platoon. And there's just one specific like time I can remember. I think it was my first summer as a PL in Texas. It was so hot. Like the summer was like over 110, like of June, July, and August. And we were in the field pretty much June, July, and August. And I remember like being with my platoon, sitting in the back of the Bradleys during the day, because a lot of our training we would do was at night just because it wasn't as hot. So we would like rest during the day, and then once it started cooling off, we'd start planning and train throughout the night, and then rest during the day. I remember sitting in the Bradleys during the day, just dripping sweat, like trying to find some sort of cover, like just to cool down a little bit. But like my time with my platoon then, where it was like a very, I don't want to say unprofessional, but it was more personal, like more on a personal level with my driver, my gunner, the soldiers, the NCOs. That's probably what I missed the most. Like, that was the times that I truly enjoyed and loved, because it was so personal. And like me and my gunner and driver, we'd be sitting in the track for like hours at a time. My my gunner, Sergeant Davis, he knows things about me that no one else knows. Like, no one else knows. Stephanie Banda, will you go on a date with me? Question. Hello. Absolutely. I'll make a trip to Nashville right now, just for you. That question has received the most likes out of all the questions on this Instagram feed so far. After being in the military, do you feel like you have the same sense of purpose after getting out? This is a spot on question for something I actually experienced getting out. So my one buddy came down the other weekend, and I sat here, he sat on the couch right across from me, and he's in 10th group at Fort Carson, Colorado, Special Forces, Green Beret, and we were talking, and like when I got out, I actually I didn't feel that sense of purpose anymore, which was really I did not expect that feeling. When I was in the military, you definitely feel that sense of purpose, like you're doing something for your country, with your time and your service and everything you're training for or in the event of. And then I got out, I didn't feel that sense of purpose anymore, which is really weird. I did not expect that feeling. And that's when I started experimenting with all these different training. I did the ruck march. I went for more runs. I missed that. I just missed that part of it, and it wasn't really fulfilling that aspect of it. And we sat down for a while and we talked about options and life and everything. And it's crazy because then I started doing CrossFit, and that's where I don't know what I wouldn't say it was a purpose again, but it was it gave me something to work towards again, a goal. Bodybuilding, powerlifting just wasn't doing that, but CrossFit, maybe it's because it was something new. When I joined the Army, I was new. I lacked experience, I lacked knowledge, and after college, it was taking a step back almost, being that brand new butter bar LT. And I think CrossFit is doing that same thing, where it's humbling me, where I'm taking a step back and learning something new, and it's just driving me to work towards this new goal. And it's almost like you have that sense of purpose again. That's the best way I can describe my past 6 months. Motivation is fickle and unreliable. It's better to cultivate discipline and rely on that. I completely agree. Everyone always asks a question, how do you stay motivated? What happens when you lose your motivation? Motivation comes and goes. You don't wake up every morning, or at least me, and I'm so motivated to just kick today in the dick. That happens a lot of the times, but not every single day. And I'd say if you rely on discipline over motivation, that is I couldn't say it any better. Discipline over motivation. Maybe this is something I learned from my parents growing up. Maybe it's something I learned from ROTC and being in the military. Probably a lot of the military, but just staying disciplined and knowing what you need to do. It's not a choice of I feel like doing this or I don't feel like doing this. It's this is what I have to do to accomplish what I need to accomplish in order to sustain and grow and scale. Check this out. So I was driving today, and I'm driving back from my apartment to here after I posted this, and this guy rolls down his window and he's yelling at me. So I roll down my window, and his name was Brian, and he was like, I just commented on your post. And he's an Austin resident. He's currently in Marine Corps ROTC at Texas A&M. How crazy is that though? He commented on this post and I saw him driving. He passed me. It was nuts. What's your next move for BPN, and will you ever open a gym again? I'll never open a public gym again. Maybe I think I'll always have some sort of private gym to myself or in friends and whoever's in the area. But the next move for BPN, so I actually had a meeting this morning with the guys from Compound Solutions. They came here. Compound Solutions does trademarked ingredients, and they came here. We talked about some new ingredients they have for products. We're using some of their ingredients in our vegan protein that we're dropping in late January. So we're working with Compound Solutions, adding their smooth protein, pumpkin seed and watermelon seed, and then we're adding in pea protein as well. So I guess new products in the works, a new line, more branding, just working with Compound Solutions to create more products. So that's the video. It's been a long time since I sat down and just answered some questions face to face with you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And now I'm about to go run 7 miles. So talk to you guys.